Like a game of Risk, songwriters dream of global domination, and their main weapon in this battle is the chord progression. In this video, I'll show you 5 chord progressions that are used in different types of music and have ultimately conquered the world. There is no instance of a nation benefiting from prolonged warfare. If you're just starting out on your quest, then you want some quick and easy wins. Take some territory, collect a turn bonus, and build up your army. One chord progression that did this and built an empire of songs is 1-5-6-4. Here it is in Hookpad. As famously parodied by the Axis of Awesome, 1-5-6-4 is the most popular chord progression in Western music, although the 12-bar blues might argue otherwise. It's a great chord progression to simply loop and build up a major key song. It works so well because of the way it builds and releases tension. Starting on the 1 or tonic chord provides a feeling of stability and home, which is then removed when moving back to the 5 chord. The 5 or dominant chord builds tension, which wants to be resolved. This is traditionally done by moving back to the 1, but here the resolution is provided by the 6 chord. This has the same function as 1, but has a weaker effect. You then move to the 4 chord, which again generates tension like 5, but in a weaker way. There are countless examples of this progression, including Down Under by Men at Work, Take On Me by Aha, and Don't Matter and Beautiful by Acorn. But like all great empires, eventually things crumble and fall. As such, this chord progression today is less popular than it once was. Appear weak when you are strong, and strong when you are weak. In the mid-game, you can find yourself being attacked on several fronts, and in order to defend your territory, you need to reach for some classic tactics. One chord progression that fits the bill is the Andalusian cadence. You can think of this progression several ways. It was presented in the A minor key here, but can also be considered in harmonic minor and Phrygian dominant keys. The name comes from the area of Spain where flamenco music originates, and as you may have guessed, this progression features heavily in flamenco music. But this chord progression plays a part in many different musical styles, including pop, rock, Latin, and some regional folk traditions. This progression has a clear descending feeling, pulling you down towards the final chord. It can provide drama and power to a song, like driving towards victory on the battlefield. Examples of the Andalusian cadence include Disturbia by Rihanna and Hit the Road Jack by Ray Charles. In the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity. Sometimes the territory can be easy to defend, but this doesn't mean you should be complacent. Often a different approach can provide interesting, lasting results. This is true of Japan's favourite progression, 4-5-3-6. The progression is known as the Royal Road or Easy Way, and like building up a pile of units to defend an island, it can be an easy tactic to fall back on. It is found widely in Japanese music, from J-pop to anime themes. You may also be familiar with it from its extensive use in video game music. It's an interesting progression for several reasons. It does not use the 1 tonic chord, so never feels truly settled. This lack of pure resolution means that it has a feeling of going round and round, making it useful for conveying a sense of journey and adventure. It also has a nostalgic or bittersweet feeling to it. Its influence does extend beyond the shores of Japan, with examples found in Didn't We Almost Have It All by Whitney Houston and The Show Must Go On by Queen. And a variation on this chord progression features in the ultimate musical weapon, Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley. All warfare is based on deception. Appearing to use old and tired tactics can be distracting to your enemy. A well-worn chord progression that appears in varying genres is 2-5-1, and one of those genres is Bossa Nova. Bossa Nova is a Brazilian musical genre that derives from samba music. What bossa nova songs add to the samba tradition are inventive chord progressions and chord voicings that inspire sophisticated ways of comping and improvisation. Bossa nova guitar players frequently use seventh chords borrowed from jazz standards. The 2-5-1 chord progression is found widely in music across different genres because it is useful for changing key. You'll particularly find it in jazz, where different extended chords will be used to aid improvisation and extended jams. Some popular examples of 2-5-1 include From Me to You by the Beatles and You've Got a Friend by Carole King. The greatest victory is that which requires no battle. Thinking and building up your army whilst others are fighting can be a great strategy. Then the element of surprise when you are more powerful than them can be greater. A genre that is increasingly influential, or maybe new to some, is called Afro beats. Here's an example progression. I was limited with beats in HookPad, so I did the best I could. Afro beats, a wide-ranging musical style that initially developed in Nigeria, Ghana and the UK, is becoming popular globally. Its sound is a diverse fusion of various different genres, such as British house music, hip life, hip-hop, dancehall, and multiple West African styles. Usually using the 4/4 time signature common in Western music, Afro beats often features a 3/2 or 2/3 rhythm called a clave. It's distinct from Afro beat, which is a genre that developed in the 1960s and 1970s. The chord progressions for Afro beats are often simple repeated loops. They focus on the minor chords in major keys, often starting on the 6th chord as the example demonstrated. This gives them an interesting melancholic edge which never feels fully settled. Afro beats is increasingly influential, inspiring popular artists and collaborations in the UK, the USA and beyond. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. The truth is that music and writing songs is more about collaboration than it is about conflict. Musical traditions are the result of centuries of knowledge that's passed on through playing, singing and talking. As such, phrases and chord progressions are shared and don't respect lines on a map. This is even more apparent in the modern world, where ideas can be shared instantly. They also don't have to share the same way of looking at and writing music. In this video, I used the Western way of interpreting music to explain ideas. But this is only one of many ways to understand, share and analyse the way in which people write songs. The ultimate victory comes when you create music that you enjoy, regardless of influence or tradition. You've learned how different regions fight with chord progressions, but now you need to use them in a song. Watch the video on screen now to learn how to do this by sculpting your first rock song. In this video, I'll show you 5 chord progressions